How to become him as soon as possible in 10 simple steps. The no BS full guide. So before we hop into today's video, my name is Jordan McLeod. I help men transform and maximize their looks so that they can become the most confident versions of themselves. Now, here's the thing. When you maximize and transform your looks, yes, you're going to be more confident because you're going to be more attractive. You're going to see that women are going to find you more attractive. You're going to receive better treatment from people overall. However, it's not just about the exterior changes that are going to make you confident as a man and ultimately make you him, but it's also how you view yourself. It's all about how you portray yourself in your mind and the way that you view yourself as far as your self-esteem, your self-image, the standard that you hold yourself to. If you don't dial in those things, if you don't maximize your inner self, if you don't become more of an attractive man mentally, none of this stuff is going to matter, right? And becoming him isn't just about transforming your looks and maximizing your looks to the best of your ability, but overall becoming the greatest version of yourself. To really tap into that, you got to tap into your mind and really conquer your mind, which is what we're going to talk about in today's video. So be sure that you stay throughout the entire video. That way you don't miss any of these 10 steps, and that way you can become him, the best version of yourself, as soon as possible. So let's hop into it. So number one, who do you want to be, bro? Who do you want to be? What does him look like to you in your mind, right? Like the best version of yourself. What does he look like? How does he act? What does his body look like? How does he dress? How much money is he making? What is his dating life looking like? What type of women is he into? What's his ideal woman? You know, what is he doing with his life? What's his career? What are his hobbies? You see what I'm saying? Figure out what him looks like to you in your mind, and then create a mental picture of that version of you, right? Because we don't rise above the standard of our self-image. We don't rise above the standard that we set for ourselves, meaning we don't do the things that are not aligned with how we view ourselves mentally. So if you want to become him, if you want to become the best version of yourself, then the action step that I would suggest that you do is that you write out the new version of you, the him, the best version of you that you can see in your mind that you want to become. Write out this new version of you on a piece of paper in great detail. It doesn't matter how long it takes, right? Make sure that you get a piece of paper and write out in detail, great detail, the type of man that you want to become. Who is him to you? Create that mental picture, and then from this day forward, you're going to operate in life based on the standard that you set for yourself. As far as the new mental picture that you have, as far as the man that you want to become, you're going to do the things. You're going to think, feel, act, and do the things that the best version of yourself, aka him, would do. Because this is actually how you're going to become him in real life. So make sure that you figure out exactly what this man looks like to you in your mind, the best version of yourself, and then write out in great detail exactly how this version of yourself looks like in your mind. Now, moving on to step 2, select a goal. So I would suggest that you select a goal that you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months. 6 to 12 months is usually a good amount of time to achieve a significant goal. It may take you less time, it may take you more time, but select anywhere from 6 to 12 months as a realistic time frame that you want to achieve a particular goal. So for an example, you can make a goal like packing on 15 pounds of lean muscle mass and building an aesthetic body, you know, and really the goal should be aligned and support the him, the best version of yourself that you envision yourself being. The goal should be aligned with that version of you. The goal should allow you to accomplish becoming him. So for example, with me, part of my mental picture and self-image that I have of myself is being a attractive, in shape, strong man. So the goal that I set out for myself a long time ago, like as you can see right here, this is me when I was skinny. I just started to do body weight training and calisthenics. So I started to work out. That's why I have a little bit of, six pack here. But obviously this transformation right here on the right is insane, in my humble opinion, compared to this version of me, right? This older version of me. And if I wanted to become a handsome and attractive man that has a strong and aesthetic body, well, I had to pack on lean muscle mass. I had to get strong. I had to build that body by going into the gym, lifting heavy weights, tracking my lifts, tracking my calories, staying consistent, being on a lean bulk. I had to do the things that would allow me to accomplish the goal, and the goal would be aligned with the mental picture and the self-image that I had of myself. Does this make sense? Hopefully this makes sense to you. So the next action step that I would suggest that you do is select a goal that you're going to dedicate yourself to achieving in the next 6 to 12 months. And remember, the goal is going to be aligned with the man that you envision yourself becoming, aka him. The goal must be aligned and support your journey of becoming the best version of yourself that you see in your mind. So that's step number 2. Number three, visualization. So this may sound woo-woo, but just hear me out on this, right? Hear me out on this. Visualization. Visualize and reflect on the him version of yourself, aka your ideal self, daily. You want to visualize and reflect on the end destination in great detail. When I say the end destination, I mean you finally achieving and becoming the man that you want to be, that you envision yourself becoming, that you've always dreamed of becoming, probably ever since you were a child, right? You want to visualize, what would that be like? How would life be? How would you think? How would you feel? How would you act? How would people treat you now? How will your life be different than how it is now? And I know this sounds very woo-woo, but I read about how Shaq walked into the Lakers gym. I think this was like a early morning, and he saw Kobe Bryant dribbling an imaginary ball, an imaginary basketball. And I know Kobe Bryant, I'm a big fan of Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, but I know Kobe was a big reader, and I know that he had to have read a particular book that covers visualization, which I will cover what that book is at the very end of this video. So be sure that you stay throughout the entire video. But I know Kobe was a big reader, and I know that he knew the power of visualization. He was a very smart man and a very accomplished man. He was a 5-time champion, right? And the reason why visualization is so powerful is because our minds have what you call a creative success mechanism. Meaning, when we can picture a particular goal that we want to achieve, and we start to visualize and put ourselves in that paradigm of what it would be like to achieve that goal, well, our minds work like a lock-on target missile, and it will do whatever it takes from a subconscious level even to do the things to achieve that goal. And that starts with visualization. Now, again, you may probably think all this is woo-woo, but let me end that whole debate for you right now. The very device that you're watching this video from right now and listening to me to, that very device that you're holding right now, or that you're looking into right now watching this video, was once an idea that somebody had to visualize in their mind before they can conceptualize it and bring it into reality. That should end any of the arguments of this being woo-woo right then and there. Everything that we have, all these objects, technology advancement, all these things were once in somebody's head. They had to visualize these things before they could even bring it into reality, correct? So wouldn't you agree that visualization is extremely important if you want to become him, if you want to become the best version of yourself, and be able to lock on to that target, that goal of becoming him, the best version of yourself, and then allowing your subconscious mind to take care of the rest? I know, again, that sounds woo-woo, but follow me here throughout this video and it's going to make more sense. For example, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I'm a blue belt. I'm a 4-stripe blue belt. So I'm on my way to getting purple belt, which is the 3rd belt in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belt ranking system. And before I became a blue belt, I visualized my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach promoted me to blue belt and wrapping the belt around my waist. I imagine what that would feel like. I would imagine how it would be to have a blue belt. A little bit of the status that comes with being a blue belt when there's other white belts under you. How it would be like to roll, to spar, wearing that blue belt around my waist. How people would treat and perceive me by being a blue belt. I visualized all those things, man. And I finally achieved that, right? I achieved that. I became a blue belt. As you can see right here, I'm a white belt right here. Now I'm a 4-stripe blue belt. You see what I'm saying? And I visualize this quite a bit in my life, bro. Like I visualize this like even when I'm about to lift weights. If I'm about to hit a PR, I'll visualize what it'll be like to finally extend all the way up. Let's say if I'm going for a 225 pound PR on an incline bench press for 5 reps, I'll visualize what it would be like to complete that 5th rep. And then on my Strong app that I use to track my lifts, I'll hit the green check mark signifying that I completed that set. I'll visualize what it would be like after I achieve my goal. And I've noticed that when I've done that in many different areas of my life, bro, whether it's with fitness, dating, jiu-jitsu, business, it doesn't matter. It's not that long until what I visualize manifests and becomes a reality for me. Again, I know all this sounds woo-woo and I know I'm repeating myself, but this is very, very powerful shit. And I'll say this, if you're a basketball fan like myself and you understand how smart Kobe Bryant was, if Kobe Bryant, as smart as he was and as, stoic of a man that he was, if he was caught dribbling an imaginary basketball in the Lakers gym, what should that tell you? And he went on to win 5 championships. What should that tell you? And there was a study that was done, actually, speaking of basketball. We'll talk about visualization a little bit more and then we'll move on. But there was a study done where there's 3 groups of people that were practicing free throws, right? One group practiced doing free throws every single day for 30 days. That was group number 1. Group number two, they didn't physically practice shooting free throws, but they practiced mentally in their mind. They visualized it. And then group 3, they just didn't do anything, right? So I guess technically group 3 didn't do any free throws, but they just didn't do anything, right? Group 1, at the end of the 30 days of practicing free throws physically every single day, their percentage of made free throws went up by 24%. The second group of people that didn't physically practice shooting free throws, but they did in their mind for 30 days every single day, their free throw percentage went up by 23%. So just 1% less than the first group that were physically practicing shooting free throws. And then group 3, there was no progress because they didn't do anything. So you see the power of visualization right there, that if group 2 were able to have an increase of 23% free throws made by visually practicing shooting free throws in their mind every single day for 30 days, can you see the power of visualization? So the action step that I have for you is spend anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes a day visualizing your HIM goals in great detail. And you can do this through meditation and or journaling, right? So you can literally sit down, set a timer for like 10 minutes on your phone and just sit down, close your eyes, get yourself in a comfortable place and just literally sit with yourself and imagine what it would be like if you became the version of yourself that you want to become, that you've always wanted to become. Sit down with yourself and just think about how life would be. Act as if you are that person right now. You can do that through meditation. This is what I call HIM meditation, which is you're simply reflecting on how the best version of you would be, how they would think, how they would act, how they would feel, what they would do, what their life would be like. Imagine these things in great detail for 10 minutes a day, every single day. And I promise you, not too long after, you're going to start to really have this strong, positive self-image and mental picture of yourself. And you're going to be pulled towards that. You're going to be pulled towards that because you see, the reason why you may have actually tried to, practice like positive habits, take action towards achieving a particular goal and bettering your life and self-improving, you may have actually tried to do these things before, right? But you feel like you can't ever get there. It feels like you're pushing a boulder up a hill. You feel like you always fall flat on your face and you can never complete anything. You can never complete any of the goals that you set out for yourself. It's because, as I said earlier, we can't rise above the standard of our self-image. We can't rise above how we view ourselves, at least not for that long, until we plateau and we lose all momentum. Because let's say this, if you're somebody that, in school, you struggle getting good grades, you're always going to identify yourself as someone that struggled to get good grades, and you're going to think that you're not smart. But if you switch your identity to being someone that you mentally picture in your head, someone that is smart, and if you're like, let's say you're still in school, you can get good grades or you can be successful, right? You think that you can't be a successful person because you struggled in school and you didn't get good grades. So now you think that you're not smart. And since you don't think you're smart, you don't think you can be successful. You don't think you have what it takes to make something out of your life. You may have thought that based on your past experiences, and you let those past experiences create this mental picture that you have of yourself. But this is a negative mental picture that's not serving you, a negative self-image that's not serving you, and that won't help you become him. So how do you end up switching that self-image? And number one, it's creating a new version of yourself, creating a new mental picture of yourself, right? Creating a new mental picture of yourself and not identifying with the experiences that you've had in your life. And we'll talk more about this towards the end of the video, but I'll just say this before we move on, is just because, let's say you struggle getting bad grade, or you struggle getting good grades in school, you got bad grades. Yes, factually, you may have gotten bad grades. But from an opinion perspective, you may think that you're someone that only gets bad grades. Well, that's just an opinion. You may think that you're someone that can only get bad grades. No, that's just an opinion. Because, yeah, factually, you may have gotten bad grades, but that doesn't mean that you just in general were born to be a person that would get bad grades. Hopefully that makes sense. Don't tie the experiences into your identity, right? So like, for example, let's say that I do jujitsu and I get submitted. Someone puts me in a rear naked choke. Well, I got put in a rear naked choke, but that doesn't mean that now I'm somebody that gets rear naked choked constantly and I can only get rear naked choke. I can't rear naked choke anybody else. I can't submit anybody else now. Right? That's just an experience. That experience doesn't identify me. Just because I got rear naked choke doesn't mean that I now suck at jujitsu. You see what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense. But moving on to number 4. Oops, went too far. Number 4, reminders. So I would like you to remind yourself daily that you are him, or that you are on your way to becoming him, through evidence and realistic affirmations that are based in facts. Now, you hear a lot of people say like, oh, you need to, shout positive affirmations and say things like, oh, you're a multimillionaire, or you are a handsome, jacked man, or you can get all the women in the world. Like, you hear all these crazy, unrealistic affirmations that are most of the time not based in any facts or evidence. And I truly believe that our brains aren't smart enough, our brains are smart enough to pick up on the fact that what you're saying is a lie. What you're saying is a lie. Now, what is the difference between an unrealistic affirmation and a realistic affirmation? So an unrealistic affirmation can be, something like, I can get any woman that I want, but you're not attracting women right now. You're struggling to get women right now. You're out of shape. You don't take care of yourself. You don't know how to dress. You're not on top of your grooming. You have bad hygiene. You know what I'm saying? But A realistic affirmation would be, I'm on my way to becoming a man who can attract women to him because I take care of myself. I'm in the gym. I dress well. I know how to, take care of my skin. I have good hygiene. I have good grooming. I'm charismatic. I know how to have conversations. Stuff like that, that's rooted in evidence. That's rooted in evidence and facts. You can have the mental picture of yourself of the version that you want to become, but then when you start doing the things, you start taking the actions, big or small, you start taking the actions that will support you eventually becoming become the best version of yourself that you picture yourself being in your mind. Well, eventually, over time, those affirmations become stronger and stronger, and eventually you will become the person that you affirmed yourself that you would become on your way there because of the evidence that you have to support yourself. So if I say I'm a handsome, in-shape man and women find me attractive, I believe that's true. Why? Based on my experience. I have evidence to support that. I have evidence based on the relationships I've been in with women. I've been, with attractive women. Attractive women have told me how handsome I was. I personally believe I'm in shape and that I'm strong based on my performance in the gym, based on people that I've sparred with in martial arts that tell me how in shape I am or how strong I am or how athletic and explosive that I am. I can obviously see right here in front of me with you, my transformation from looking like this to this. This is evidence. I'm not just saying this stuff and having no evidence to back it up because you can't really, I think it's very hard to hold on to those things and really put in the work and pull yourself to that person that you affirm yourself that you are, but you're not really. Like if you say that you're a multimillionaire, but you have $0 in your bank account and you don't know how to make money, it's going to be very hard for you to realistically, in my opinion, realistically believe that because you're not doing things that are providing you data and evidence and proof that you are at least on your way to being a multimillionaire or that you are on your way to being able to attract many women or whatever, right? So the action step that I would like for you to take is spend time reflecting on your reminders or your evidence to support your journey to becoming him. And this is why I would also suggest that you create what I call an evidence board. So you know how people create dream boards. They create dream boards of things that they want to achieve in life, that they want to have, that they want to accomplish. Well, what I would suggest that you do is create an evidence board. If you think about it, this is like a mini evidence board for me. This is evidence right here that I can go from being the skinny, unattractive, low confident, scared, nerve-wracking, no sense of style young man to this well-dressed, in shape, strong, handsome, confident man right here. This is a mini evidence board, and this is a reminder to me that I have the ability to transform my life. I have the ability to improve the areas of my life that are in my control, that I've been able to become a version of myself that I've always wanted to become, which means I can continue doing that. I can continue to improve. How do I know that? Again, because of the evidence. It makes it more believable in my mind. It makes it more believable in my mind. It allows me to see what I was capable of doing, which actually allows a new door to open up in my mind to see even more capabilities that I can obtain and more things that I can achieve based on what I've done already from the evidence that I've been able to provide myself based on the work that I put in. I mean, let me just ask you this. Do you think it would be easier for me to believe that I can continue improving myself and achieving even bigger goals because of the transformation that I have right here? Do you think it would be easier for me to believe that I can continue to improve my life based on the transformation that you and I clearly have, are looking at right now that I made? Or if I didn't make a single transformation, but yet I still have these beliefs and I wasn't doing anything, I didn't have any evidence to back that up? No, it's going to, at least in my opinion, it's going to be a lot harder to believe that I can transform my physique and my style, my fashion, my appearance, my charisma, all those things. It's going to be a lot harder to believe that you can make that transformation without evidence and data to support it, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Moving on to step 5 is take him actions daily. So take the actions that the him version of you would take for you to accomplish your goals and achieve your ideal / himself. So this means simply taking the actions that the best version of you would achieve, or that would take, so that they can achieve the things that they have now, or that they can achieve becoming him, right? So let me just break that down a little bit. So again, I like using fitness because it's just a great analogy. It's easy to understand. If the mental picture that I had of myself was that I wanted to be an in shape, strong, aesthetic looking man. Well, what would be the actions that I would need to take to achieve that, to accomplish that version of the mental picture that I have of my best version of myself, of my highest self, right? I would have to go to the gym. I would have to lift heavy weights. I would have to track my lifts, track my calories, and I'll have to do this consistently, right? Those would be the him actions that would allow me to achieve my goals of building a strong aesthetic physique that is in line with the mental picture that I have of myself. Hopefully this is making sense. And this also means not doing the things that would sabotage your goals and sabotage your journey to becoming him. And this is like a reminder for you. So for example, let's say that you're trying to build an aesthetic, strong, masculine body, and you need to, let's say, lose weight. Let's say you're on a fat loss journey and you need to eat in a calorie deficit. You need to start cutting out excessive sugars and desserts and junk food. Well, if someone offers you cake or offers you ice cream, well, the him version of you, the in shape, strong, aesthetic, masculine version of you, he would say no. He would say no. And you would have to decline that offering, because by declining that offering, you're taking actions that are in line with the best version of yourself that you think of up here in your mind, right? Another example of that would be, me deciding to be consistent in the gym is what's going to allow me to achieve my dream physique. But by me not being consistent, if that makes sense, that's aligned with me becoming the best version of myself. Meaning, instead of skipping workouts, if I decide to not skip workouts, well, those actions right there are aligned with me becoming the best version of myself that I view of myself in my mind. You know what I mean? Or like, let's say that you want to make money online. You got to put in a lot of work to do that. If you're in a season where you're trying to make as much money as you can and you're building up your business, what would be, let's say you want to make $10,000 a month. What would the $10,000 a month version of yourself do? What would he say? How would he act? What would his day look like? And if you have friends that are trying to invite you out to, go to a bar, and you maybe not have the money, the time, or just going out isn't a priority for you because it's going to get in the way of you building that business and making $10,000 a month, well, you declining their invitation would be aligned with the actions that the best version of you, aka him, would take in order to get in the position that him is in right now, as far as making $10,000 a month in this example, right? Hopefully all this makes sense. But the him actions are what will bring the him results into reality. Yes, we can think of all these amazing things and have the visualizations, the mental positive self-image and picture of ourselves, but if we're not taking the actual realistic actions to bring the version of ourselves that we think of in our head into fruition, none of this is going to actually happen. So an action step that I would like for you to take is write out what your him actions will be and implement those actions daily. Write these out on a piece of paper in great detail as well. And then take action on these things every single day consistently, because results will compound. And then before you know it, you will have achieved the goals and the version of yourself that you've always dreamed of becoming and that you envision yourself becoming. Moving on to step 6 is implement the him daily mental training into your everyday routine. So I would suggest that you spend anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes a day minimum dedicated to him mental training. So I would suggest that you visualize your himself, the goals that you want to accomplish, how it would feel once you accomplish those goals, etc., during either meditation or by creating an evidence board and looking at your evidence board, reflecting on your evidence board, because that's just going to constantly remind you and show you, based on the evidence, again, based on the data, based on the positive feedback that you're receiving on your way to accomplishing your goals that will be aligned with your positive self-image and mental picture of yourself, aka your him self. These will be the things that will keep pulling you towards becoming him. And again, you can do this through meditation. You can do this through looking at your evidence board. You can also do this during your journaling sessions. You can journal about the him version of you that you want to become, what you're doing, the actions that you're taking to become him, why you want to become him, what you've done in the past, and or what you're doing now to become him, etc. And the reason why this is very important is because, for me specifically, I create content about looks maxing, helping men transform their looks, maximize their looks in a healthy, masculine way, helping them get in shape. I talk about body game. I talk about a lot of stuff that has to do with the exterior. And part of the reason why I do that is because there's a lot of men that want to start attracting women to them. Maybe they just got out of a bad breakup. And when men improve their physical looks, their face, their body, their fashion, their style, their grooming, etc., it does make them more confident. It does make them feel better about themselves. They start to receive more attraction from women, which also makes them feel better about themselves. However, the pitfall that a lot of men will fall into, that I want to help men avoid as much as I possibly can, is improving the exterior, creating a hardware and external update to yourself, but mentally, internally, you're still the same version of you that lacked confidence, that had a low self-esteem, that faced a lot of trauma, that didn't view himself very highly. You're still going to think and even act that way mentally, even though the exterior has updated itself. So by creating a him daily mental training routine that you can implement every single day and take action on, you're actually going to be updating your inner software. You're going to be updating your mental picture of yourself. You're going to be increasing your self-esteem, your self-image, your confidence over time by doing this daily mental training, as well as putting in the work and taking the actions that are aligned with the version that you see yourself becoming. And all this really stems from the beliefs that you have of yourself and what you're capable of and what you can achieve and what you cannot achieve, the type of life that you can build and the type of life that you cannot build. All this stems from beliefs. But I will tell you this, the way that you can start to shift your beliefs to serve you and help you become him is by simply shifting your beliefs, shifting the mental picture and the way that you view yourself and your mind, which can be quite hard if you've had such a negative self-image and mental picture of yourself for many, many years, for some men decades, depending on how old they are. But I believe that one of the best ways that you can actually shift the mental picture and the way that you view yourself is, first and foremost, you have to have a mental picture. You have to have a version of yourself that you want to become. But it can, in my opinion, at least from my personal journey, it can be quite hard and difficult to take on that new identity. But the way that you can actually start to take on that new identity is by actually doing the habits, the actions that are aligned, again, with the person that you want to become. And as you continue to take those actions, implement those habits that are in servitude and are in congruence with the man that you want to become, aka him, over time, you're automatically, subconsciously going to start to take on that new positive self-image, mental picture, and identity of the man, aka him, that you want to become. And you have to understand that software takes time to update, doesn't it? Like for me, I have a MacBook Air. Sometimes it takes like 30 minutes to an hour almost for my laptop to update. That's why it's important to do this daily, because it's going to take time to update your mental software. But your mental software in my opinion, should be aligned and in congruence with your external updates and hardware that you've made, so that you can actually have a congruent positive self-image of yourself physically and mentally. Because this is actually going to allow you to maintain the results that you will make on the front end, as far as like your external, your looks, your body, your physique, your style, your fashion, how people are going to start to treat you, how women are going to start to treat you, because you're going to actually be able to achieve a lot of these things and you're going to start to get a lot of these results, but you may end up sabotaging it. You may think that you're not deserving of it, that you can't have these things, you can't maintain these things for a long time, that you're going to lose these things. You're going to lose the looks, lose the physique, lose the treatment, right? And obviously our looks will fade over time, but you get what I'm saying. You think that you're going to lose these things very quickly out of scarcity. You think that you're going to lose these things quickly out of scarcity. Sorry, someone was calling me. And a lot of this stems from a negative self-image of yourself, your older self. And that's why it's important for you to update your internal software. This is why you have to do this daily. This is more important than anything. I know this may seem like a lot. This may seem like extra shit to do. But if you want to truly become him and maintain your him results, if not improve upon your him results over time in the future, in my opinion, brother, you have to do this. You have to do this. So moving on to step 7 is have positive self-talk. So practice positive self-talk with yourself daily. Speak positive affirmations over yourself daily that are rooted in evidence. So for example, for me, I will look in the mirror and I'll say, damn, I'm in shape. Damn, I look good. Damn, I'm strong. Damn, I know how to fight. Damn, I'm attractive. Women love my looks. And some of these things that I'm saying, I know for like the sensitive dudes who are just looking to like just talk shit because of their own inadequacies and deficits. I know you guys are going to get upset and maybe comment down below or click off whatever. I don't care. I really don't. But for the men who support my channel, support the content that I create, and maybe I even aspire in some way, shape, or form, I'm sure the significance varies. I would like for you men to start talking like this for yourself, for my titans, right? I want you guys to start speaking positive affirmations over yourself daily that, again, are rooted in evidence. So, some of you guys are going to be like, oh, your chest could look better, this could look better, whatever. I think I look dope as hell. I'm fly as shit, in my opinion. I don't care what anyone says. I believe I'm fly as shit. I know I look damn good. I put in the work to achieve that. Yes, I was born with a decent base of genetics, but who gives a shit? I had to still maximize those. I'm fly as hell. I know how to fight. Women love me. Call it arrogant, but it's the damn truth. Justin Timberlake, he had a lyric that I like on the song Sexy Ladies. He said, is it really cocky if you know that it's true? Real talk. And this is why I say be humble in public, right? Because as you guys improve yourself, you start to do the things that will truly make you him externally and internally, right? People are even going to notice that you're going to start to, move a little bit different. Your back is going to be a little bit straight. You're going to have more pep in your step when you start to, let's say, transform your body, improve your looks, improve your fashion, your style. You're going to have a little bit of a pep to you more. You're going to have a little, little nice little step to you. You're going to be having your chest out. People are going to be like, damn, who's this person? Who's this new person? You're going to start getting more compliments from women. You're going to start getting compliments from men, respect, from men. I have a lot of clients I'm working with right now who are getting in shape, improving their physiques, and they're telling me all the time that men are like dapping them up, like, man, you look strong, you look big, like, oh, bro, you lost a lot of weight, man, you're getting ripped, like, what are you doing? You're going to get compliments like that. And for me personally, I used to really deny these compliments. When I say deny these compliments, I mean, like, if someone's like, oh, Jordan, you look really good, I'll be like, oh, nah, man, I'm all right. I'll say all that little shit. But by doing that, I'm still denying myself. I'm going against myself. I'm denying my hard work. I'm denying the things that I had to do in order to become the man that I envisioned myself becoming. Why am I denying these compliments? And maybe you're like that too. Personally, I don't like a lot of attention on me. I know that sounds very ironic for me to say because I'm creating YouTube videos where people watch my content. But I don't really like a whole bunch of attention on me like that. Just never really been that way, really. And I think that's a part of why maybe I wouldn't accept compliments like that in the past. When I say accept compliments, like I'll say thank you, but then I would try to be like, oh, nah, like I'm all right. And, you know, I'm decent. Like I'm in okay shape. I'll say all that little shit. But I would really say that because I would feel bad. If I'm being honest with you, if I'm being vulnerable with you, I would feel bad because I would feel like my results were hurting somebody else, even though that wasn't the case. Like me being in shape and someone that isn't in shape complimenting me, I felt bad. I felt like I was undeserving. But that's not the case because I had to put in the work to achieve that physique. It's not my fault if someone else is out of shape. It's not my fault if someone's not fly. It's not my fault if someone can't attract women to them. Sorry, guys. For some of you who aren't going to like that, sorry. It's not my fault. It's not anyone's fault. It is what it is. I had to put in that work. I had to show up to the gym daily. You guys saw what I looked like earlier. This isn't Photoshop. I know I got some dudes that think I'm on steroids. There was a comment that I saw in my comments from my last video, I believe, that someone thought I was on steroids. I take that as a compliment. I definitely didn't come out looking that way, though. I had to put in the work. So when you start to receive compliments, accept them. Be humble, be respectful. Like, oh man, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Oh man, like that really means a lot for you to say that, man. I had to put in a lot of work to build this body, but I appreciate your kind words and your support. Thank you. How are things going with you in your fitness journey, man? Where are you at with things? How's everything going with you? You know what I mean? That's the better way to accept those compliments. But notice how I also say be arrogant in private. What do I mean by that? I honestly think that society doesn't want people in general to know their own value. Out of scarcity, inadequacies, deficits, low confidence, low self-esteem, most people have like the crab in the barrel mentality. Most people are going to try to pull you down, right? And I would love for you men who follow me and support me and my content, my message, I want you guys to be arrogant as shit in private. I don't care. I want you to be arrogant as shit. You need to be putting in the work and have the evidence and the data to back that up. Don't just be talking all this stuff to yourself in private in your mind and you don't have any evidence or data to back it up. Like if I say like, yeah, I'm sexy as shit, that's going to sound arrogant to you guys. I don't give a shit because my evidence supports it. How I view myself supports it. Sorry. I know how to kick some ass. I'm strong as hell. I look good as shit. And I'm talking that way not because I'm trying to be cool or come off a certain way to you. I'm giving you guys examples of how I talk to myself in my mind, how I view myself in private. Or I view myself like this all the time, but these are the things I say to myself. Some of you guys aren't going to like it. I don't care. You can get in your feelings and comment all you want. I don't care. It's not going to change anything about your situation. But I'm giving you examples of how I talk because I want the men who understand where I'm coming from that are willing to put in the work to become him. I want you guys to talk like that because you're going to have other people because of their own inadequacies and their own deficits and their own bullshit. They're going to try to pull you down. For what? They're going to try to sabotage your results because they keep sabotaging theirs. And instead of trying to figure out how to stop sabotaging themselves and build themselves up, they're just going to try to sabotage you. It's like putting a Band-Aid over a broken arm. Doesn't work. And you already have life. You're already going to have people who are going to try to pull you down. I don't want you to do that to your own damn self. You got to have that winner take all mentality. If you watch Avengers Endgame, you remember when before the snap, before everyone, Doctor Strange started to transport everyone back to Earth and back to the battlefield with Captain America. Did you see that one glimpse of like Captain? It was like all zoomed out. It was like Captain America, his shield was destroyed. He had Thor's hammer, and you just saw the big ships from Thanos and his whole army coming to just attack Captain America before everyone started to, teleport and come into the battle. But you saw how Captain America, he was like, man, I'm gonna do what I can to take out this army, but I'm more than likely not going to survive, but damn it, I'm going to give it my all and do what I can before I get taken out. That's the mentality I would like for you men to have against the world and against the people that may try to pull you down. Or more importantly, the negative self version of you that will try to talk you out of becoming him, becoming the best version of you. You have to have that Captain America like mentality. You got to be able to stand in battle. You got to face everybody. That's how I think in my mind, man. I'm like, I'm going to take everybody out. And when I say take everybody out, I mean competition. People are going to try to pull me down. You know, all these things. I'm like, let's go. Winner takes all. I'll fight all 20 of you dudes. Like, you know what I mean? I'm thinking all this stuff in my mind, right? That's how I would like for you guys to think. Right? I would like for you guys to think these things. Be respectful, be humble in public. Don't like, just because I think I'm fly and I look good and all this stuff and I know how to fight and I'm strong and all this, which I am. I know some of you guys are gonna get upset in the comments. I'm kind of doing that a little bit to perturb some of you dudes who just I don't know, you have a whole bunch of BS going on with you and instead of trying to fix it, you want to just spew hate. I'm kind of perturbing you a little bit on purpose, but I don't treat people like they're beneath me though. At the same point, I really don't. I try to big everybody up. I try to pick everybody up. I try to look at everyone's strengths and positive traits and raise them up. And you can still do that while being humble in public, but be arrogant as hell in private. Let me ask you this one question. Do you think you have a higher likely chance of achieving what you want by not being your biggest fan and not hyping you up 24/7, or having low confidence, having low self-esteem, constantly thinking negatively, overthinking everything, thinking things aren't going to work out instead of things are going to work out, that you aren't capable of achieving this, that, the third, instead of thinking I can do whatever the hell I want. If I set my mind out to it and I put in the work over time and I stay consistent, I can achieve whatever the fuck I want. That's how you should think, in my opinion. I believe at least that thinking of you being arrogant and private as far as being your best fan, biggest fan, is going to allow you to achieve a lot of things in life, in my opinion. And these positive self-talks requires action too. It requires daily action and consistency. But these manual thoughts, because that's what they will be, they'll be manual thoughts, because you're probably not used to talking like this, right? You probably don't say these type of things to yourself. You don't say these positive things to yourself. You may not do it enough. You may not do it daily. You may not do it consistently. These are going to be manual thoughts. They're not going to feel real in the sense where they're going to feel natural, that they should be just like that. But what is once manual will eventually become automatic, because a lot of the negative self-talk that you have of yourself was once manual thoughts too. You just may have forgotten, but they were once manual thoughts as well that now have become automatic. So why can't we do the same thing, but for positive self-talk, for positive affirmations rooted in evidence and data and facts? You dig what I'm saying? One last thing before we move on. Your name, if I ask you what your name is, you'll instantly be able to tell me. You'll instantly be able to write it down on a piece of paper if someone asks you to. But when you were very young, you probably don't remember this. I don't remember this either. There was a point in our times, in our lives, where we had to manually think of what our name was and manually repeat it back, and using a lot of conscious brain power to do so. It took a lot of manual work and conscious brain power and thought and effort and energy to write our names down on a piece of paper when we were very young in school. This is no different. You just probably don't remember doing all that, as I don't. But this is no different. So the action step that I would like for you to do now is do this daily. Practice positive self-talk mentally. You can do this while you journal. You can write these things out. You can do this while you meditate, as you're reflecting on him, the best version of yourself. Hell, if you want to even say these things out loud to yourself a little bit, on the crazier side of things when you're by yourself, do that. Do whatever it takes for you to improve your self-esteem and be your biggest fan. Don't go against yourself, bro. That's all I'm going to say. Don't go against yourself. Go for yourself. Even if you're Captain America and you have to go against Thanos' army by yourself, give it your all, man. Give it your all. Moving on to number 8, step 8, cut out distractions. So cut out the distractions, the bad habits or vices that will prevent you from becoming him. And a question that you can ask yourself is, what would the best version of myself do? Always ask this question. What would the best version of myself do? What would the version of myself that I'm trying to become right now, what would he do in this instant, in this very moment? Because I'm going to tell you guys this, and some of you guys aren't going to agree with this, which is fine. But I personally believe that extreme results will require extreme measures and sacrifices, at least in the short term. So what I would suggest that you do is cut out the distractions, cut out excessive social media use, Netflix, dating, if you're not in the position where you can attract women to you easily, or if you don't have money for dates, you have to count your pockets. If you're in that position, I would suggest sidelining dating for a while, excessive scrolling on the internet, on social media, on YouTube, going out with friends and not doing anything productive when you know you probably shouldn't be. If you don't feel like you are in a position in life, or you're not the man that you want to be yet, I would suggest not going out if it's going to get in the way of you becoming the man that you want to be. Getting rid of cheap dopamine as a whole. Drugs, alcohol especially, get rid of those things. Because these are going to be the things that hold you back. These are going to be like the obstacles that are going to be thrown in front of you while you're running on the racetrack and trying to cross that finish line to becoming him, to becoming the best version of yourself. These are going to be obstacles. These are going to be the hurdles. These are going to be the things in front of your path that are going to try to slow you down, throw you off course, fatigue you mentally and physically. These are going to be the things that are going to try to stop you, which is why it's important, in my opinion, that you cut these things out. So an action step that I would like to give you now is identify and eliminate the distractions that you know damn well are stopping you. Even that means you have to sit down, write all the distractions, all the vices, all the things that you know that are stopping you from becoming him, from accomplishing the goals that are aligned with the best version of yourself, that are aligned with him, that are aligned with the mental picture that you now have of yourself, that are going to also stop you, demotivate you from taking the actions and implementing the positive habits that will allow you to really identify with that new mental picture, that new version of yourself, that higher version of yourself, the him version of yourself. Because a lot of these things right here that I listed out in front of you, as far as distractions, cheap dopamines, these lower motivation, these lower drive and ambition in men and people in general, but for men especially. Prawn, I don't even know how I didn't put prawn on here. Dirty websites, adult films, definitely get rid of those. These are going to lower your motivations, your drive, your ambition. Is going to have your dopamine receptors out of whack, and they're going to stop you from putting in the work consistently with as much energy, effort, mental bandwidth, quality effort and work, wherewithal, all the things that you need in order to accomplish your goals that are aligned with him. So the action step I would like to give you is identify and eliminate these distractions. Again, write them down in detail, as many as possible on a piece of paper, and eliminate these things from your life. Especially like drugs, alcohol, prawn, adult films. But at the very least, like with social media, Netflix, dating, scrolling, you know, those things aren't as bad compared to, like, as I said, drugs, alcohol, weed, all those things, prawn. Eliminate these things at least for the next 6 to 12 months, or however long it takes until you achieve your goals and you become him. Now, moving on to step 9. This is a big one I would like all you men to do right now with me, is forgive and forget the past, bro. Most people have negative self-images of themselves due to trauma in their past that are preventing them from becoming him. And as I said earlier, we only rise to the level of our self-image. If you think that you are somebody that is not capable of success, even if you try to implement positive self-habits, even if you try to be disciplined, you try to stay consistent, you try to take action on the things that are proven to generate results, you're going to find a way to sabotage your own success and journey, because the self-image that you have of you isn't aligned or correlated with the positive actions that you're trying to implement, which is why you have to update that mental picture and self-image of yourself, my friend. For real. And this is why I wanted to talk about updating the internal software at the same point when you're updating the external software, helping, because I talk about, as I said earlier, I help men looks max, self-improve, get in shape, improve their style, their fashion. I help men update their external software. But if I'm helping men update their external software, then I sure as hell need to help men update their internal software, aka the self-image, the mental picture that you have of you. I have a client of mine that, he's starting to get a bunch of women to him. He's starting to attract a bunch of women to him. We've done a lot of work. We've helped him with the looks maxing, help him get in shape. He's on dating apps. He's getting a lot of dates from women on dating apps. He's, having a lot of positive treatment that he's receiving from women on dating apps, and he's not used to it. And one of the things that he told me yesterday, obviously I'm not going to name drop him or anything, but one of the things that he told me yesterday is just that, he's pretty much scared that he's going to lose all these results that he's getting. And I told him, I'm like, where's that rooted from? Where's that coming from? Where is that extending from? Where is that rooted in? And he was like, when I was growing up, I wasn't used to getting, female attraction and attention. When he was young, he didn't get attention from women like that. And I told him, I was like, I totally get it. I understand. And I appreciate you sharing that with me. And I commended him and applauded him for not only knowing where that came from, but being able to admit it. And I told him, I said, listen, I understand. In the past, that was your experience. Yes, you didn't get a bunch of female attraction growing up, but that doesn't mean that factually you are a man that is undeserving, that is unable to receive attraction from women, number one. But number two, the past no longer exists. The past are really only chemicals in our mind, guys. Can you go back and get the past? This version of Jordan that you see right here, can I go and bring him back? Can I get the time stone? Can I use that? Can I go back in time? I can't pull that Jordan back. We can't do anything with the time because the time no longer exists. The past was once the present. The present that we're living in right now is the present, but eventually it will be the past. But all we have is the present moment. And you have to understand that the past no longer exists, but also forgive yourself. Forgive the people. I know it's hard. I know this is easier said than done. This isn't going to happen overnight for a lot of you. But whatever is holding you back, whatever trauma you face, whatever challenges and obstacles that you face coming up as a kid, a young man, an adult, whatever the case is, I would like for you guys to forgive and forget the past, because I don't want it to hold you back from living in the present and achieving an amazing future that you guys can cultivate for yourself if you put in the work and you implement what I'm teaching in today's video. I don't want that for you. I don't believe you deserve it. And don't let your trauma, don't let the things that you faced in the past burn you twice. Burn you once by putting you through those negative situations and obstacles and traumatizing you in the past, but then burn you twice by allowing its effects to remain and dictate the decisions that you make in the present that can affect your future. Don't let these things burn you twice. And understand that you're physically, mentally no longer that old person. Are there remnants of that older that past version of you? Sure. But the experiences that your past self faced are not experiences that you're going to experience now. Like how my client, going back to him, I told him well, you're capable of attracting women to you because you're attracting women now. He just sent me a message saying he has probably four dates this week, and he's on a tangent, man. He's out here. He's out here. I'm proud of him. He's out here. It's like, bro, you got almost 4 dates locked in this week, bro. What you mean you can't attract women to you? But I get it though. I get it 100%. But I told him look, man, look at the evidence. Look at the evidence right now that support that you can become and that you're on your way to achieving the things that you want, that you're on your way to becoming him. And one last thing that I'll say, because I was telling him this too, because he overthinks a lot, and I have a history of overthinking too. A lot of people do. I would say from my personal experience, man, my life and reality have been in servitude and support of me than my own mind has quite a bit. I'll be honest. Why do I say that? Because our minds, going back to the power of our minds as far as the power of visualization, because this MacBook Air that I'm looking at right now was somebody's imagination. Somebody had to visualize this very device that is now something that I'm using in the real world. But a lot of the things that we come up with, all these scenarios, all these negative scenarios and all these negative outcomes, because our minds are so powerful and we can create infinite scenarios in our mind, like how Doctor Strange saw 12 million scenarios on the outcome of, the Avengers fighting Thanos, and how there's only one outcome that was going to help them win against Thanos. We're like Doctor Strange and coming up with all these scenarios in our mind as far as like why we can't do this, why we can't do that, why this happened, why that happened, why we won't be able to achieve this, why we won't be able to achieve that. And a lot of those things aren't even rooted truly in data or evidence. And the things that we believe that those things are rooted in data and evidence, if we take a deep look into those things, you'll find that those things aren't even true either. Like, going back to my client, he said that he couldn't get female attention growing up. So he probably identified himself as a man that just can't get attention or attraction from women. No. Did those things happen before? Yes. Does that mean that he's just automatically, permanently, for every woman on the planet, a man that is unattractive and unable to attract women to him? No. No. And that was an experience in the past that no longer exists. What's going on now? Because all we truly have is the present moment. So the action step that I would like to give you guys is forgive and forget the past. Focus on the now, what you're doing now, and where you want to go, and ultimately who you want to become. And what I was going to say earlier is that a lot of the scenarios that I've overthought in my life ended up not only happening, but the scenarios that I wanted to happen in the real world. And that's why a lot of you, if you overthink too, sometimes you have to just shut your mind off, bro. Just shut your mind off. And you kind of have to be on autopilot a little bit and take the right actions and do the things, implement the things I'm teaching in this video that will help you get the goals and results that you want in your life. Because you also have to remember, our minds are wired for survival. Our minds are wired for survival. They don't want us to get out of our comfort zone. They don't want us to take risks. If you think about it, successful people, the reason why they're successful is because they go against human nature. They go against their emotions as far as listening to their emotions, their sexual desires, right? They go against human nature. Sometimes you have to go against human nature. Sometimes you have to go against your own mind by not listening to it if your mind has had a long history of sabotaging you. But you and your mind are two different entities at the same point. So forgive and forget the past. Don't be down on yourself. Don't talk negative of yourself. Don't forget and forgive your past with negativity, with toxicity, with anger, with hatred, with resentment. Appreciate for what it was, because it got you to where you are right now. But now, let's forgive and forget, as far as not identifying with the trauma in the past, negative experiences that we faced that created negative self-beliefs that are affecting us from creating new beliefs in the present that could actually serve us if we create new positive beliefs for ourselves. Let's forgive and forget the past. Let's forgive and forget the things. And more importantly, let's forgive yourself. I forgive young Jordan for having a video game addiction, for being addicted to adult websites at 14. I forgive him for that, because he just didn't know better. But now I do. And honestly, I have to thank young Jordan, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in front of this camera right now. I wouldn't look like, this dude right here, wrapping my hands, if it wasn't for young Jordan. So if anything, forgive, but also thank your older self, because they got you to where you are right now. And if you're watching this video, that means you're alive, and that means you're in the present moment with me, which means you have the ability to put in the work and do the things that will make you become him. And then the last step, step number 10, I would suggest reading the book Psycho-Cybernetics. This is where I got a lot of today's talking points from. This book has been very transformational for me. I've been able to see how I've actually implemented a lot of these teachings in my life unknowingly, but how I can continue to execute on them with more conscious effort and thought and strategy to become the best version of myself and improve, the best version of myself I see in my mind, improving that version and not getting complacent, not settling, but constantly chasing greatness. I don't want to say chasing, but pursuing greatness, pursuing the best version of myself, and constantly getting better as long as I'm alive. So I would definitely suggest that you guys get this book, read it. This is what you would call a live text, meaning this is a book that you would really read for the rest of your life and constantly revisit and go back to. Because as you collect new experiences, data, feedback, lessons in your life, when you go back and read this book, a lot of the talking points are just going to hit different. They're going to hit different because of the context that you will now have when you come back and read this book. So I hope you guys got a lot of value from this video. These were the 10 simple steps to becoming him as soon as possible, the no BS full guide. Hope you guys got a lot of value from this video. Hope this was helpful. And if you guys want extra help when it comes to leveling up your looks, transforming your body, becoming the best version of yourself, the most confident version of yourself, because when you do look good, you do feel good, and you do good as well. If you want to learn how to do that, you can check out my Inbound Attraction Blueprint program. I'll have a link down below in the description and the pinned comment. With that being said, I will talk to you in the next video.